Kelly, this thing is going to be nasty.
Yeah, and then we've got the coldest air of the season. That's going to be settling into the Carolinas, including Charlotte, North Carolina. The bitter cold fueling that threat for snow in the Queen City. Meteorologist Reynolds Wolf is live in Charlotte this morning, where you still have some traces of what happened there last weekend, Reynolds. But hold on to your hat. We've got the potential for gusty winds, too.
Traces. Let's see if we can find some of those traces, Kelly Cass. Let's send it back to you.
Well, hopefully the folks are better with, the snow in the forecast instead of that awful ice that we saw just last weekend. I know in Charlotte they saw just under an inch of snow, but then the ice happened and that kind of blew all the snow away. So Reynolds, thank you so much. We'll get back to you. Let's talk more about the impacts that we're going to be seeing from the Carolina coast northward into Virginia, because we are going to be seeing several inches of snow in a place like the mountain city of Asheville, North Carolina, right around the Biltmore. You've got 3 to 5. The purple, not too far off up into the mountains. We could see anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of snow, and down towards, places like Greenville here along the Reedy River in upstate South Carolina. We're talking about a few inches of accumulation as well. So let's watch the snow move in. It's going to nose in after sundown tonight. So today you're fine with running out to the grocery store, getting anything you might need, because once the snow really starts, you want to stay indoors, especially all day tomorrow. That snow is blowing around. You've got the gusty winds in Greenville, 25 to 30 miles an hour up toward the I-40 corridor. It is wind-blown snow, possibly whiteout conditions. At times, it's going to be very difficult for travel, so make sure the plows are out there and, give them plenty of space to stay off the roads. Here in eastern North Carolina, we could see quite a bit of snow here, several inches possible, especially in that darker shade of purple, where you could potentially see up and over 8, 9 inches of snow. Snow on the beaches here, the Outer Banks, down to Wrightsville Beach as well. The wind will also be an issue for us as well. It's going to kick in overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Notice the rain-snow line, that purple right there along the coastline. It's not going to be there for very long. The cold air will win out with this particular storm, and therefore you are in the snow for several hours going from Saturday into Sunday morning. The snow is still coming down around Cape Hatteras, down to Wrightsville Beach, and you can see that snow basically tapering off as we go through Sunday morning. Here's a look farther to the north now around Norfolk. We could see a couple of inches, a little touch of purple down here around Virginia Beach, where it's possible we see several inches of snow. It all depends on the exact track of this low right off the coastline at this time as we go from Saturday into Sunday. But the winds here too, they will grab your attention. That's going to be picking up 25, 35 miles an hour, even up to 40 miles an hour right there in Norfolk as the snow begins to wind down and taper off during the mid-morning hours on Sunday. Here's a look around South Carolina. Yes, the low country, looking at a few inches of snow, maybe even more than a few inches in places like Myrtle Beach around Horry County, the Grand Strand covered in snow. Let's watch the snow move in here as well from Columbia to Charleston. We are going to see that blue really taking over the map here. Even though we may start with a mix along the coast, it is all snow when all is said and done, and therefore the ability to get some accumulating snow. Atlanta, oh, so close. But Steph, even a coating to an inch, even if we get a half an inch, the roads will be cold. Untreated surfaces will still be a little bit icy out there if we're trying to do any traveling Saturday into Sunday.
It'll be something to watch very, very closely there around the Atlanta area.
Artemis 2 right here on the Weather Channel. You've also come to the right place for travel. So far, I'm not seeing any delays. I've seen some de-icing at some of the airports, but of course the wind increasing as well as the snow in some areas that could cause some potential delays later on, including a place like Chicago at O'Hare. So really anytime after 10 o'clock this morning Central Time, the FAA is saying there could be a delay program, even a potential ground stop. We've got the rain for Seattle. Good flying day for Atlanta until we don't over the weekend with the winds increasing. We'll be keeping an eye on the New York area airports too with our next winter storm. Even if you don't get the wintry weather, we still have the storm bringing about the wind all across the Northeast. So let's have a look at what's happening here with the lake effect streamer coming right down Lake Michigan. It's actually bending back towards Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they're currently getting some snow. Chicago not snowing right now, but we got about an inch or so in the forecast. Not enough to meet, criteria for an advisory or a warning, but still just know that there could be some slick conditions out at times, not just northern Illinois, but getting into northern Indiana as well. Then we've got the next system moving across the plains that spreads the snow through North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, eventually reaching all the way to the 35 corridor around the Twin Cities as we get our Saturday started Floyd. We'll watch that snow progress into the rest of the Great Lakes region throughout the weekend. So it's going to be windy, it's going to be blustery, it's going to be cold. Jordan, I feel like every time we say it's the coldest day of the season, we keep beating that.
Mother Nature always is like, hey, hold on. I'm going to show
South
you.
Carolina.
I mean, are they even equipped? You know, I know that they're going to be out there pre-treating as best they can. The good news is we're not dealing with a rain, ice, and then snow situation. Hopefully they can pre-treat the roads because this will be snow from the onset for so many of us. Then we work our system up to the north into the mid-Atlantic. It bombs out, meaning it strengthens very rapidly just along the coastline here, and we will have windy issues. So whether or not you get the snow, the wind really affects more of us. The snow will be a thing for us here around the Cape Cod area, from Provincetown to Barnstable, right on down to Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, where we do have a winter storm watch for now. We'll see if the Weather Service upgrades us to a warning, because there is that potential. We could see several inches of snow. We're also going to find that wind increasing from south to north as the snow kind of comes up in our direction. This is going to be Sunday morning when we see the onset of the snow right along the Virginia coastline, Delmarva, up toward the Jersey Shore. Maybe a few flurries, but the bulk of the snow out to sea until you get to Cape Cod. That's where we're going to be clipped by the system and certainly experience some of those stronger winds, 30, 40, even up to 50 miles an hour. So that is definitely going to be very disruptive in terms of travel and possibly some isolated power outages as well. All right, comparing the models, the Euro says maybe 1 to 3 from Plymouth out to Chatham. The American model says a little bit more south side of Boston, around Plymouth County. We could see a few inches as well. So there's still a little bit of a disagreement in terms of how much snow we end up with. We do know that there could be some coastal flooding right along the Massachusetts coastline because you've got the wind interacting with the water, and that's going to push all that seawater onshore, especially at times of high tide. You've got the bigger wave action and even beach erosion that could happen with this very powerful storm as it really strengthens right off the northeast coast. We want to check back in with meteorologist Reynolds Wolf, who is live in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina this morning. Reynolds, we had a lot of ice last weekend. Hopefully folks there that you've talked to a little more excited about the snow.
I definitely think so. I think the kids will be, but